Okay, so let's talk about something we're all dealing with, a world that is just drowning in data. How do you find the actual truth in all that noise? Well, that is the huge question at the heart of the book we're diving into today, The Art and Science of Intelligence Analysis. It's really a guide for turning all that raw information into real, powerful insight.
Right out of the gate, the book hits you with this powerful statement. And think about it for a second. It's true. Every time you walk into a room and get a feel for the situation, or you read between the lines of an email, or you question a headline you see online, you're doing the basic work of an analyst. This book is all about honing that natural instinct into a sharp, effective discipline.
And that's the core challenge, isn't it? We have more information at our fingertips than ever before, but turning that flood of data into something you can actually use, into real knowledge, that's the hard part. So how do we cut through the chaos? Well, for that, you need a guide, a master. And that guide is the author himself, Dr. Kim Jong-hyun. We're talking about a true master of the craft who has spent a lifetime in this field. What makes his perspective so unique is that he's coming at this from two sides. He's not just a brilliant data scientist, he's also a doctor of public administration. So he gets both sides of the coin, the nitty-gritty of the data and the real-world impact of policy.
40. Just let that number sink in. 40 years of hands-on experience. He's been on the front lines of intelligence work since way back in 1985. That's some serious perspective.
And we're not talking about just any roles. He's been in the thick of it at some of South Korea's most critical intelligence organizations, the Defense Security Command, the Defense Intelligence Command, and the Defense Intelligence Agency. These are the places where real-time analysis is everything. So what you're getting in this book isn't just some dry academic theory. No way. This is the distilled wisdom of that entire 40-year career. It's where all that street-smart, operational experience meets deep, rigorous research. All right, so what's actually in this toolkit he's offering? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The book's real magic is how it builds a bridge between the timeless, old-school principles of analysis and the crazy, powerful tools we have today. And you can see that bridge right here. On one hand, he honors the classic methods that have been the backbone of intelligence for decades, things like pattern analysis and link analysis. But then he seamlessly fuses them with the modern powerhouses, big data, AI, machine learning, the whole shebang. But, and this is a huge but that he emphasizes over and over, this technology is here to help the human analyst, to augment their judgment, not to replace it. At the end of the day, the human brain, with its intuition and its critical thinking, is still the most important tool in the box. And that brings us to another core pillar of this book. And honestly, it's something that couldn't be more important right now. We're talking about the ethical compass of intelligence work. Because with all this analytical power, you've got to have serious responsibility. The book puts forward this idea of ethical intelligence, and believe me, it is not just a buzzword. It's a whole framework. It's built on the fundamental idea that every single piece of analysis has real-world consequences for real people, so it has to be handled with incredible responsibility, transparency, and a deep, deep respect for privacy. He even lays out these core pillars. It's not just about what you can do with all this data. It's about what you should do. And that means everything from protecting people's privacy, to being transparent, to actively fighting against the biases that can so easily creep into our algorithms. And this quote just nails it. The idea that being ethical somehow weakens your analysis is totally wrong. In fact, it's the opposite. The book makes this fantastic point, that being ethically rigorous actually forces you to be more analytically rigorous. They don't compete, they make each other stronger.
Okay, so who is all of this for? And what's the endgame here? Let's talk about the impact this kind of thinking is meant to have.
You might think this is just for spies or government agents, but the audience for this book is huge. Of course it's for analysts and policymakers, but it's also a must-read for students, for researchers, for folks in the corporate world. Heck, it's for pretty much anyone trying to make sense of the world today. Ultimately, the ambition here is a big one. This isn't just about teaching a few techniques. It's about empowering all of us to make better, smarter, more informed decisions. The kinds of decisions that actually build a safer, more enlightened society for all of us. So if you had to boil it all down, this book is a roadmap. It's a guide designed to give you the tools to look at the massive challenges ahead of us and face them with real confidence in your analysis and total clarity in your ethics. Which leaves us with this final massive question. Technology, especially AI, is moving at a dizzying speed. So the real challenge for all of us is this: how do we make sure our own human wisdom, our judgment, and our ethics
can actually keep up? This book doesn't just ask that question. It gives you the framework to start finding the answer.